Hello, as you can see in this question, the graph of velocity against time for an object moving in a straight line. A object is moving in a straight line. The velocity versus time graph is shown here. So velocity in this direction, time in this direction. Okay. So velocity is increasing uniformly. That means uniform acceleration. After this point of time, it is constant, the velocity is constant, and again after this point of time, velocity is decreasing uniformly. That means uniform deceleration. Okay, uniform deceleration. Or I can write minus acceleration. That means deceleration. Okay. Now they want us to find out a graph will displacement versus time graph which justifies this graph or justifies this motion. Okay, so what happened here, the object was moving in a straight line. For some time it was accelerating, and for some moment, very brief moment of time, it was decelerating again. It sorry For brief moment of time it was constant, velocity is constant, not accelerating. That means acceleration was zero. After some time it was decelerating. Okay, now we want to find out a graph, displacement versus time graph. So as you can see, there are few graphs present here, displacement versus time graph. Now in this graph, this is not a correct answer. Why? Because here it is showing the displacement is increasing with time. So obviously, till here it is accelerating. As you can see, this curve is the acceleration curve. After this point, the displacement was increasing uniformly. Okay, till here it is correct, but that means velocity is constant here. But after this point, it went other side. So here it is wrong. Why? Because this motion can be observed like this. So it was moving like this. It was accelerating and then moved with a constant velocity. And then since the displacement again becomes zero after this point, that means it was coming back to its origin. Okay, so which is not correct. Now B, here the displacement is constant. That means it is not moving, and after some point uh the displacement became zero. That means it was moving opposite with time. Okay, so this does not seem correct at all. This is not correct, we found out. Because why? Because it was at rest at the beginning, so that is not correct, obviously, and directly moved back. Okay, so this is not correct answer. Now let's look at C. So here, as you can see, this graph, this curve is showing that the velocity is increasing with time, uniformly increasing with time. That means it is accelerating, uniform acceleration graph. Now for brief moment it went straight graph means linear graph, and which means velocity is constant velocity. Okay, now after this point of time, as you can see, displacement is not increasing significantly with time. Okay, so that means the velocity is decreasing. That means here we see this curve in this displacement versus time graph is showing that uniform deceleration. So this graph matches with the or justifies the previous graph of velocity versus time graph. So this is the correct answer, not this one as well. Thank you.